Welcome back here at Humboldt State as they are up by 8 here at halftime over Central Washington. And throughout our Division II coverage this season, we're going to be featuring some of the top female athletes and coaches from around the country, not only about their successes in sports, but also in how they follow the Division II philosophy of learning, sportsmanship, and passion. I had the pleasure of jumping in the boat with Humboldt State's head rowing coach, Robin Meiggs, the other day, and she has had such great success. As you look at her track record, the top NCAA Rowing Coach of the Year this past year. But even after 18 years at the helm, she's still as passionate about her sport today.
Hi, Coach. Hey, Krista. Thanks for having me down.
Thanks for coming. What we're going to do today is take you out for a little tour of the bay. First thing we're going to do is get you in the boat. Welcome aboard.
Thank you.
Perfect.
So, your 18th season here with the program. Doing this day after day. You can't even count how many times you've actually done this procedure right here. But what is it that drew you to do this in the first place?
You know, it's hard to believe that it's been 18 years. I mean, if you think about it, it's seamless. It goes from one season into the next. And, you know, when rowing season approaches, you start waking up at 4 o'clock in the morning in anticipation of that all of that energy that reflects the beginning of the year and all those new possibilities.
And you have had some success, obviously, especially the past couple of years. You were named Coach of the Year by the Rowing Coaches Association, and success third in the NCAA championships last year. The year before, you were the champions. How have you been able to do that? You have such an interesting group that comes in every year. You go through an extensive training. How have you been able to get that consistency with some of these athletes that haven't even been rowers?
You know, that's the beautiful thing about women's rowing. You know, you can take athletes from all different sports and teach them how to row, and it's their hunger and their passion that they discover and the love for rowing that just makes them so competitive. And what we see is that every year it's a new slate, and so it just makes us really excited to be out there with a whole brand new group of kids every year. You know, I think you have to look all the way back to the inception of women's rowing at Humboldt State. Dr. McCrone, during that Title IX era, he embraced enlightenment. He added women's sports instead of cutting men's sport, and that's where it really started. You know, we get so much support from the administration. It's amazing. It just makes me feel so proud to be involved with the program where everybody really has this care about students, and then there's a passion about student athletes as well.
That makes a big difference. When you have that kind of support, it starts with the administration and it goes all the way through all of the other athletics. Well, and you start with athletes, as you said, that have never rowed at the beginning of the season, and by spring, you're taking these athletes and becoming champions at this point. That's quite a road that this group travels together.
You know, it was an incredible journey 2 years ago to win that championship by 1 point. What was amazing is that every student that participated in that regatta progressed to the grand finals but one. And you know, it's a 2-day journey, and at the very end, when it was all said and done, 1 point separated us between first and second.
I know one of the things that you had said about what other schools had said about your program and why you were named Coach of the Year, a lot of it had to do with the fact that just how your athletes interacted with some of the other schools. That must make you so proud.
You know, I have to say that receiving that honor of being National Coach of the Year for Division II, I owe the thanks to the coaching staff and the student athletes, because really those were the people that worked day in and day out, that brought the recognition to the program and ultimately brought it to me. But it's not anything that I did by myself. It was truly a team effort. And I couldn't have been more proud of the way that the team handled themselves at the national championships, just in interacting with other athletes and other coaching staff. That truly was a crowning achievement in going to nationals this year.
Coach, I can't thank you enough for letting us come out. We've learned so much, and we know you're going to have great success this season as everything's getting ready to get going. And thank you again for letting us take some time out of your day.
Are you kidding? The pleasure was all mine. It was so very nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Well, after spending some time with Coach Meiggs and seeing her dedication and her passion for her sport, there's no doubt why she was named Coach of the Year. Don't go away. We'll be right back here at halftime right after this. Dan Collin, yeah.
This question, how many intercollegiate sports are there in Humboldt State? 10 or more than 10? More than 10. We have a finalist. Is David Wilson. He will be trying to answer 3 questions correctly, and if he does, he wins a $100 gift certificate to Wild Village Marketplace. The first question is, what animal is represented on the Wild Platter logo and Wild Beer?
Chain off. They just
rev it.
no.
That could be dangerous.
He says, not at all a pig. Would a wild boar qualify as a pig? What do you think?
Beautiful night at the Redwood Bowl on the campus of Humboldt State University here in Arcata, where the Jacks lead the defending GNAC champions 21-13. We send it back down to the field. Krista Blanc with a special guest.
All right, thanks, Todd. I'm joined by Humboldt State's athletic director, Dan Collin. And Dan, all you have to do is look in the stands to see what kind of community support you get here. How have you been able to build this connection with this community?
Well, it's great. Humboldt State's a residential campus, and they live and breathe the campus environment, and the athletics really bring something to the table. This is an amazing turnout. I couldn't be happier for the community and for the campus and the support we're getting tonight.
Well, a record 7,031 in the stands cheering on this team. And as you look around, a brand new field, brand new facilities, how does that help you here?
Well, I'll tell you what, it's been something that the administration has really made a commitment toward athletics. It helps with student recruitment and retention. And look at the student support we have tonight. I'm just so pleased. But yeah, our facilities are, we think, one of the finest in Division II. Not only the football field, but also our other facilities.
We knew this would be a close game. It's been very competitive. And if the competition's like this the rest of the season, you're going to have quite a season. What do you expect down the road?
Well, I'll tell you what, we know that Central Washington's one of the premier teams in our conference, and our program's on the rise. And under Coach Smith's leadership and the campus support, I'm really, really excited about the football program and the success we're going to have this year. But it's an exciting game.
It definitely is. Dan, we're having a great time. Thank you very much. Todd, back up to you.
All right, thank you very much, Krista. 21-13, halftime continues here in Arcata. When we come back, we'll have stats, analysis, give you all the highlights from the first half, and the second half is still to come when we return to the Division II Game of the Week.
And I have the winning drawing courtesy of Coach Jody Gleason and HSU women's basketball. Tonight's prize is worth $1,289. We are looking for ticket 331263. It's a yellow ticket, 3312. A yellow ticket, 331. If you have this ticket, 331263, please meet head coach Jody Gleason underneath the scoreboard. Ladies and gentlemen, we have the winner of the alumni halftime drawing for the iPad. This was open to alumni, parents, and students. It is an HSU student who is the winner. Brandon Sterling. Congratulations, Brandon. Go to the alumni tent to claim your prize.
Halftime here in Arcata, 21-13. The Jacks on top of the Wildcats alongside Krista Blunk and Doug Chapman. I'm Todd Harris. All right, I tell you, the halftime stats, nothing too gaudy, but it really tells a tale as you look at the special teams miscues for Central Washington.
And that's the biggest thing. Time of possession is can fool you a little bit, but the thing is, you look at those special teams miscues, the 2 blocked field goals, and then they led to points. Those can end up being killers. Right, if you're on the receiving end of those.
Well, we had a chance to sit down with Humboldt State head coach Rob Smith last night, and I don't know if he's got a crystal ball or what, but he said he thought special teams would be a huge point of emphasis of this game, and the winner could definitely get the special teams mark and get the victory. Well, the interesting thing about this conference, the GNAC and Division II, is these teams play each other twice. So we've got a home-and-home series as the Wildcats make their way back out into the Redwood Bowl. And as a player, you played in the pro ranks, you know how it is. In your conference, you played the Bears twice when you were the Vikings.
Right, you know, you play the Bears twice, you play the Lions twice, you play the Packers twice, and they naturally turn into your rivals because you see them so much, you're so familiar with them. The thing is that for so long, Central Washington dominated this conference and dominated these games, but they still saw each other twice, and now they've gotten that familiarity. But Humboldt's got a few wins, and they seem to have Central Washington's number.
Well, Central Washington certainly will make some adjustments. Right now, let's check in with Krista Blunk, who's got the head coach of Central Washington, Blaine Bennett.
All right, well, Coach Bennett, your team seemed to be in control of things there in the first half until right at the end. What seemed to turn around there?
Yeah, well, obviously that field goal PAT team didn't execute like we'd like them to. You know, we missed the one kick. We got one blocked. Our holder made some bad decisions, and now the game's 21-13. But we like what we're doing offensively. Obviously, our defense is playing great, and it should be a fantastic second half.
Anthony Spain was doing some nice things for you early on. How do you get him more involved?
Yeah, we try to get him the ball as much as possible. So we move him around a little bit. They're doing a nice job trying to get a second defender on him. But the quarterback's throwing the ball well. We got to spread the ball a little bit better.
All right, Coach, thanks very much.
Thank you.
So Blaine Bennett and his Central Washington Wildcats are out of the locker room. Warming up is Ryan Robertson. The Wildcats will have the ball first when the second half of the Division II Game of the Week kicks off in just a moment from Arcata.